I keep thinking how you're like the only cool one in this entire group.
What are you
Every time
talking about?
every time I watch the opening credits, we're all like, and you're like sitting there going, "Why am I with these guys?" Every opening credits, it's like
Yeah.
I watch that, like you're down there at the bottom going, "Oh."
Which I love it because I'm the one in the like if we're in the real world, I'm like, let's all do some random shit.
Right? I know. It's like I'm like sitting there, like we're all like bopping out. You're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa."
Well, it's funny because like at the beginning of your thing, all I saw was Perkins. I'm like, now I'm sad.
Well, that's actually sort of what that's supposed to be. Is like those are all the pictures of the
I
Perkins,
know.
sort of
I just made
fading to black and
like
white.
I
This
miss
is
that
sort of the
place. Like I
yeah.
miss
This is
everything
like
about
the logical successor of it.
right. I was just sitting there watching the like that opening. As soon as Perkins came up, like half your thing was Perkins. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, and
Thanks,
that
guy.
Perkins
Make
is
me have
still
feelings in
empty.
the morning. Hey, Brent.
Good morning, Brent. That Perkins is still very empty. I mean, nobody's done anything with it over there. It's
There's a
just
lot of buildings that they haven't done anything with because no one's doing, and also because a lot of people are looking at the taxes and that just so they have a business now in Colorado. They're like, it's kind of outrageous.
yeah.
And that,
There's
like, I
some
was talking to my buddy at work, and he's like, I want to quit this job. I'm like, let's start that business that you were talking about. He wants to do a gaming company, not like a video game or whatnot, but like a board
no.
game.
Thanks,
Thanks,
COVID.
COVID.
Thanks, Obama. We'll just blame him too while we're at it. Um,
But like
actually,
something like Enchanted Grounds or something like that. And I was like,
Governor Polis just did something recently to bring down all the taxes for new companies. It's like $20 now to start a new company.
no shit.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's
look it
the
up.
revenue. I think it's the building revenue is what he's looking at. He's like, it's kind of ridiculous how Colorado right now, like, it's not even worth it.
Well, that's real estate.
But me and
Yeah,
him were talking about it like
the entire real estate market is
2, 3 weeks ago.
ridiculous. I
Yeah,
mean,
we were
every
talking about it last month though. So
yeah,
he
yeah,
also
but
sent us
yeah,
like
Governor
seven
Polis
hundred and fifty
just did
dollars or something like
something
that.
to switch to switch it over so that it's like $20 for us to start a new business or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's how it's always been. If you want to do an LLC,
Yeah,
LLCs have always been like $20, something like that. It's like really cheap to start up an LLC.
yeah. I mean,
But
like
like once you start
technically,
getting actual like you need a place to work, that's a different story.
that's. But I mean, I work out of a Starbucks, technically speaking. You know, whenever I want to leave here just to go write or whatever, I'll go work at a Starbucks. I love
Get a
working at a
coffee,
Starbucks.
hang out.
Yeah, you get coffee, you hang out. Sometimes I'll invite you guys to come along and hang out with me and stuff. You know, so I mean, I guess if you're just starting out, Starbucks are fine.
I mean, that's where we all started.
That's where we
Starbucks and
all start.
Perkins.
Exactly that Perkins. So, oh yeah, so I want to tell you ridiculous laws because you were talking
Hmm.
about people who are making reactionary laws. Um, so I tell my kids this all the time because this is a funny story. Not a funny story. It's a thing. Chick-fil-A.
That's a place to work.
No, I wouldn't work at a Chick-fil-A. That seems, I don't know.
Dude, apparently Chick-fil-A right now, speaking of Chick-fil-A very quick before we go on this rant, they are paying for all your college tuition to come work for them.
Starbucks will too.
Does it matter what your degree is?
I don't know.
Oh. All I know is my boss told me the Chick-fil-A one yesterday, and I was like, well,
Maybe I'll switch to
I'm like 2
Chick-fil-A.
weeks now or 2 weeks later? And he's like,
Right.
what? And I was like, I just became a newfound Christian.
Right? That's the drawback. And therein lies the rub.
That's I was like, I just became a newfound Christian. I'm gonna go work at Chick-fil-A. And he's like, and I was like, you shouldn't have said that.
Right. So, yeah. So interesting that I tell the story all the time. So in 1964, I want to say it was 64, 63. This school bus was going along in somewhere Iowa or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always somewhere Iowa in my world. I'm sure it's not Iowa. So before people start getting on me for this, anyway, was a train was coming and they were going to race. The bus driver wanted to get across the tracks before the train got there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he raced the train effectively, and of course the train beat him and hit the bus right in the middle and split the bus in half. Um, and then, of course, killing a bunch of the kids, right? A whole bunch of the kids got killed. He went to court and he claimed that he did not hear the train. And the jury agreed. So they then decided to reactionarily law that. So now all buses must stop at tracks, open the window, open the doors, and listen for trains.
That's why they all have to stop.
That's why they do it. That's why. There was this.
I was always wondering why buses and that all like stop at train tracks.
Stop at trains. They have to turn on their hazards. They have to stop. They have to open the windows. They have to open the doors. They have to listen for the trains. I think they've loosened it up a little in the 90s or the early 2000s. But when I was a kid, they had to open it. And my bus driver would make us all shut up, too, because he was mad about it.
I could see that.
Right? So, it was...
But yeah, that's what we were going off of. Yes, me and my coworker, we were talking. I was like, "Oh, let's just start a business." And we never got it. He's like, "I'm not sure about it yet."
Right.
I was like, "I will quit this place to go start a business." How fast you want me out of here, boss?
Right. So, yeah. It's one of those things. Franchise at Firehouse. Right. I like Firehouse though. I dig Firehouse subs. Brent is over there speculating what he could franchise and stuff.
A lot of things.
He's coming up with ideas. I actually read about it 1,000,000 years ago in a book that I ironically got from the PTA. It's called Disaster. And this is like one of my favorite things because it has, this book is for Guy Davis from the Thompson PTA. Thompson is the elementary school right up the street. So when people are like, you went to Thompson? I'm like, it says it right here. I still have this. I got this in 4th grade or something. Made in 79. School bus 596. There we are. In fact, I'm just going to, instead of tearing up this book, because that book is getting remarkably fragile.
I forgot that's what you were doing yesterday. Was getting your
what
shot. Franchise Firehouse here in Topeka. We don't have one. There you go, Brent. Bring Firehouse to you. Today is Portals. You're going to draw more portals. And no, guy fell asleep.
Yeah, I totally did, and I fell asleep because
Guy claims he was sick.
No, we put it in quotes. Sick. No, I actually think that my COVID booster caught me. So,
which is funny because I was sitting here like, I'm waiting, and then you said I'm going to see how I feel in a few hours. I'm going to see if I can take a nap. I'm like, okay, and I'm like, you're not waking up.
Nope, I was zonked.
The way you were talking, I was like, you're not waking up.
I was
Also,
out.
like 8 o'clock.
I was out, and I didn't. Actually, my wife came in and she was like, "Are you going to get on your show?" And I was like,
Okay.
And then I just didn't. I went right back to sleep. And she's like, "You never do that." So there's obviously you were not doing so good.
Gonna let you sleep a little bit. Somebody needs it.
Yeah. Overloaded with 50 high school students.
What?
Okay, so wait a minute. This is saying Gilchrist Road. Oh, okay, so it says 8 a.m. So it was March 72
For what?
for this accident.
Oh. 72?
Yeah, so 72.
Wow.
So it wasn't the 60s. Well, I mean, I read this book in fourth grade, so I mean, my data might be off a little.
You read that book in 4th grade?
Right? Well, that's what's so funny about this. Okay, so this book right here, right, this book totally, I mean, you can even see it. It's got the Thompson Elementary PTA A thing for Guy Davis, little Guy Davis. This is the Reading is Fundamental riff program, which was from the from the 80s.
Nice.
But yeah, it's so funny because this was just one of the books that was there, and it's like it's got all of these horror. I mean, like the Hindenburg's on here. It's got like one of the, but like this one here, our cars are going too fast.
Our cars are going too fast.
Yeah, because it's like 1930s and it's race cars, and like one of the cars comes around the corner and jumps the gate and like beheads 12 people, and I mean, like, like I'm reading this and I'm like, here I am in fourth grade going, what's beheading mean? Or actually, what does decapitate mean? Because I didn't know what decapitate was. So I went to my mom.
You went to the library and like, what's decapitation?
And she's like, what? Why would you need to know what decapitation was?
You don't need to know that, little kid.
And my mom, being a trooper, she told me.
Right. Go, Mom.
Right. All right. We have only a handful. We have 2 panels. They're both totally 3D outside panels that need to be done. So this should be relatively easy. Because they just need to be there. Blunt force rendering here. Wait, didn't I set up a set for this? I didn't even have a set for this. Let's see. Okay, he was right there working on it. But yeah, it was a particularly funny thing.
That's awesome.
It was like my mom was just like, she just kind of tolerated it.
She's like, I mean, if you really want to know, I guess I will teach you.
But yeah, it's still one of those things that teach you. We won't show you, but I'll tell you what it is,
That's better. All right, we'll go with that.
New primitive plain accept the plain, then we will do. I even have like trashed city stuff somewhere. Yeah, you're fine. Just need to figure out where the heck I stored everything. So yeah, anyway, that bus accident spawned the having to stop and open windows and all that crap.
That makes so much more sense why buses have to stop everywhere now. I always wondered that because I used to ride the bus, so I was always curious.
Right? I did too. I was like, I don't know why you're stopping, but okay.
Yeah, I was like, why are you the only vehicles out there that I know that actually stop at the bus stops? At the train tracks. There we go.
At the train track. Well, we were, understood. All right. Somewhere around here, I actually have like
Over the rainbow.
I'm just going to start with this, then I'm just going to trash
the up highs.
One single scene. So there's no point for me to. So,
I was trying to watch that show last night, that new Predator movie show or whatever on Hulu, and I literally fell right asleep.
Wow.
I was like, all right, cool, what? Because it starts like every Predator movie starts the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. It's the, here's your character, big open pause of like little kind of filler stuff for like get to know who the character is, the main character.
Right.
And then it goes into find dead body from Predator.
Right.
Like, or find dead body because Predator gets dropped off in this sector, whatever, for hunting. And I was just like, okay, cool, basic starting, basic. I was out, and I woke up and I was like, I don't know what's going on anymore. We'll rewatch this later. But I was also pretty like, I thought I was like, I'm not really tired that yet. Like a little bit of not like dozy. I was like, I could go to sleep, but I'm not tired yet. So I turned on the movie and literally, I think 5 minutes in, I passed out. I'm gonna give it another shot, Brent. I just literally passed right out because it literally started like every other Predator movie.
I'm gonna watch it because I'm an Amber Midthunder fan.
You're a what?
Amber Midthunder. I love her. She's so cool.
Who's that? Is that the main character?
The main character, yeah. She was in Legion. And
oh yeah. I remember seeing your post about that.
Yeah. And she was my favorite character in Legion, so I was like, I'm all about it for just her. I mean, I'll watch it for just her because she's cool.
I never finished Legion. I need to. That was on Hulu, wasn't it?
FX. I don't know. Maybe.
I remember they put it on some streaming services where I was watching it. I can't remember where. I remember liking it. They did really well. Like, and because that's also a really hard skill base in Legion to actually bring into movies. And I was like, how are you going to do that? And I was like, you guys did really well. There was a lot of times I was like, I don't know which world we're in right now.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty kick butt. I was like, I dig that. I didn't think I would. When I first saw it, I was like, okay. So
the psychic side of X-Men just never like brought me into any of it. Like I never really got into it, but like the way that they did it really was really good. I was really impressed.
I was sure that I was not going to like it, and then I did. It was cool. Okay, what leg is moving here, folks? None. No legs are moving. Okay, well, that solves that problem real quick, doesn't it?
She has no legs?
Deploy. There we go. I'll just do this the old-fashioned way. Crank. Deploy. That way. I'm gonna after I've made this comic, I'm gonna do some work on making poses for these things so that we don't have to do this every time. I can just click the pose and it's ready to go. Because really, honestly, this is always going to have sort of the same things. Part of the reason I'm using Dad Studio is so that I can just have the pre-poses so that it just does.
Right.
I also was thinking about some of the other mecha that are in here, and I was in that comic because, of course, you've heard the theory behind my comic, right? This is my Final Fantasy sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
I just throw everything that I like in it.
It's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, I like mecha, so there will be mecha, and that's the way it goes. And some of them will be cool, transforming mecha like this, and some won't. It's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Some will be different kinds of mecha and stuff. So. But yeah.
All right, there we go.
The control's not working. They're not locked. The controls are weirdly locked. Yeah, that's why I'm getting these weird, issues trying to control the leg. Oh, I now know why the controls are locked. I'm not on the right thing. There we go.
Are you on the wrong layer?
I'm not on the wrong layer, but we've got to come up with other weird errors too, because
I'm just laughing because that's actually I was on the wrong layer a second ago. So
yeah, because that was I selected the wrong object.
Nice.
So I'm trying to do the X translation of the camera instead of the actual object. But since I'm not looking through that camera, I can't see it. Now I'm curious, where the hell did that camera go? What's it looking at now? Yeah, it seems like it's all over the place.
Right. All right. Now for the fun part. At least I hope it's fun.
So, AI stuff. AI.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about that last night, and then somebody, and it was probably not you, went to sleep. I won't name any names.
I went to sleep at some point, so you could blame me.
Also true. So yeah,
it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. What they're going to do with it, I'm really they were saying, you were saying before we got off yesterday, that you're seeing that taking over certain artist jobs, which I do not disagree, but I also see it bringing a different form of artist in. more than a specific artist that you're looking for.
Yeah, I just feel like
you're gonna have more of an editor.
It's the same problem. Yeah, it's the same problem that I feel like we have had in the past with everything. I mean, like when the 3D came in, you got a lot of 3D artists, sure, but then that put a ton of 2D artists out of a job.
Or just moving to different industries.
Yeah. I mean, well, and that's what I'm looking at as I'm sitting here going, you know what? The truth of the matter is just going to be that I'm just going to make sure that I'm constantly writing stories.
I mean, there's that too. It really depends on what you're looking for, though. That's the thing is like, if that is the industry you're looking to get into, then yes, you're going to have to adapt with it. If it's not an industry that you're looking into getting into, and you just want to be an artist that still does all the same things that these AI generations are doing, because here's the difference that an AI is going to get compared to you. Humans are flaws. AIs technically are not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But they still have their own flaws. But like Bob Ross says, happy little accidents. Humans create the happy little accidents that act, and especially in art, that will make it even more make a consumer wanting it more than just having an AI pumping out picture after picture after picture after picture.
Yeah, maybe. I used to think that of animation too, like as a 2D, because I went into 2D animation.
Which 2D animation's not dead, it's just harder to get in because the specialization's there.
Right. Well, and even if you are specialized, I was specialized. Nobody wants to hire me,
I know, but you know what I mean when I say specialization, I don't mean I'm not saying that they're just taking anybody off the street now. They're going, no, we're looking for this specific skill set for animation.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean,
because also Wen was in the same boat because he was a 2D animator, and now he doesn't really do much with animation because there's no real 2D animation studios out there.
Yeah,
or at least in Colorado.
Well, yeah, and I mean, part of it was, as my dad had more than once brought up, if I wanted to be an animator, I'd move to LA.
Yep.
He said that more than once. He's not wrong. I just don't want to move to LA,
Mm-hmm. That is the downfall, is that it is becoming more of a, you can't just do it anywhere and everywhere. Well, I mean, here's the other part that's weird now because of 2020. A lot of people are able to finally do all this stuff at home and not have to worry about going to LA and that, but also because a lot of people they realize that they can hire people from out of state that actually this works. We don't need you all in studio,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, how far back do I go with the camera car? How close? I think maybe I want a 50mm lens because it should look like that. I'm gonna have to go through and trace it though, because it's gonna be impossible to tell the difference between those two, but that's okay.
There we go.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm maybe maybe I'm just bemoaning.
Well, that's the thing that we've hit that point again in these industries where you kind of have to start It's a weird. We're in a weird turning point in a lot of industries right now. Like I know you said something about Magic, the Gathering. Was that you saying that
Mm-hmm.
there won't be that many artists anymore in Magic
No,
if
I
you
don't
can
know.
just
Maybe.
AI generate? Someone said it. I don't remember
Yeah,
who it
that was
was,
what
but
I
someone
was
said
saying.
something
Is
about
like if the AI can generate using a mix match of pictures. I mean, a buddy of mine who's not an artist at all. He's a writer. He posted a picture that looked like a Magic the Gathering card. I mean, looked
Mm-hmm.
like it, exactly looked like it. I mean, it was weird, but he was messing with stuff. But it looked like, I mean, the it wasn't like the eyeballs were all over the place or whatever. It looked like a Magic card, and
Mm-hmm.
he just rendered it out of the AI thing. And I was like, well, that's unpleasant, you know?
No, I get it. Now my teacher's been showing us a few of them too. He's like, "This is what's happening to the industry, so you guys can see what's going on."
Mm-hmm.
Which, at the same time, we were asking him the same questions, like, "How much do you see this really affecting what we do?" And he's like, "What we're trying to go into." And he's like, "It's a hit or miss right now to really decide on that one. Like, we won't know until certain companies try to implement it and then realize that it's not working because the concept art side, it might work, but it doesn't really get the ideas." And that's where you're getting the artists for the concept art is you're getting the ideas and them just pushing them out left and right. Where an AI generator is just you just plugging in pictures, but also there's a lot of things that the AI isn't getting right too right now. Like he showed us pictures of hands that the AI generator was trying to do, and it's making all of them look like demons. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
I think it's awesome looking, but that's definitely not what it's supposed to be doing, But it also really depends. Like, yes, I could definitely see Magic the Gathering getting hit because it's all
Which was
paintings.
something that I was gonna get into was painting, and see if I couldn't start selling paintings.
I think you
However,
should. I think you still
that's
should.
yeah. Maybe, well, I mean, yeah, but this is the thing that bothers me the most about this is as soon as people start taking artists seriously for a job, something comes in and makes it so that 90% of the artists move back to, well, we do this as a hobby and we work at Chick-fil-A all day to actually make the bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's so frustrating. It's like we finally get to a point where we can do this. But I mean, I was looking at Star Trek's concept arts and stuff. And it's like the concept art for Star Trek, it's. Maybe I do want to make this one. Yeah, too. Okay. Sorry. I'm doing a thing here where I'm trying to
You're good.
highlight this or whatever. I don't know. So, but I mean, it's like Star Trek concept art was in full color for the for Discovery and stuff like that. I'm sitting there going, okay, so if it's in full color, then that means that they really rendered it out somewhere, like bridge pictures and stuff like that. They had, you know, all the characters are standing there talking to each other and stuff like that. So I'm sitting there going, this
Question:
is
Did you
not
actually put? Well, did you put concept? Oh, well, so that's VizDev. VizDev is a concept art position, but they do more mood boards. More, they have to put everything
right.
in there.
But what I'm saying is, and let me actually pull it up so I can show you what I'm talking about, because this is a thing that I mean, obviously, I collect everything. You know how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
I collect all kinds of stuff. But I was just collecting the concept art stuff. Do. I gotta find it first. I hid it for myself. Put it in a safe place. What could possibly go wrong? Yada yada yada.
Nothing.
So let's sort by date. That way, the most recent stuff will now be, because this was only a couple of days ago. Or it'll take me a while to find it, because I've got to search everywhere for things now, or just stuck everything in one spot, which is what I think I really did. Heavy sigh. Anyway, obviously it's going to take some effort.
But also, it's kind of, here's one thing I also want to say about that too, though. Like, in the industry that I'm trying to get into and what I'm seeing, you still need to get an actual good polished, well polished piece. You're still needing backing. You're still going to need to do the actual original ways that things are done. Because there's a lot of like the gaming industry right now. There's a lot of them that are trying to do like Kickstarters and all that, trying to change it up. And a lot of some of those games are getting Kickstarter just never published.
Yeah.
They never get finished. They never have enough time to publish. They can't do a lot. And it kind of changes that a little bit too.
Sure. But I mean, like, here's a great example. These are from Star Trek 1, right? So these are storyboards from Star Trek 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's perfectly reasonable. It's kind of like what storyboards look like to me. I mean, I've always sort of felt like that was that thing.
Yep.
And moving right along, because now I finally found the folder I'm looking at right here. And down here, here's concept art for Pike's quarters for Strange New Worlds.
Yep. The newer way. Yeah.
With Pike and number 1 sitting in here. You know what I mean? Like, this is completely different than, I mean, this might as well be literally a shot from the set. You know, I mean, if I zoom in, I can start to see that it's digitally created a little bit, but for the most part, it's totally CGI, really cleanly rendered, yada, 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 which, not a problem. I'm just noticing that, you know, things have gotten much more detailed. So I think, I don't know, maybe what'll happen, and what you're talking about is true, maybe what'll happen is that we will find that people will use the AI thing and do, here's some pictures, and people will pick them, and then after a while they'll be like, you know what? All we're really doing is selecting the pictures, and legitimately that's not as useful, you know.
Well, and it's going to be one of those, it's going to be a compositor. It's going to be someone that actually does video editing. For photo editors are pretty much going to get the more spotlight now with that AI thing, because after the AI creates it, they're going to have to go in and start tweaking the things that they really want out of that picture.
Yeah.
Because you can't really just tell an AI as like, oh, that's, well, it's pretty much knocking out the whole, this part that I'm doing right here. And then they're coming in just to finalize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about. I was like, it's just going to create a whole new opening in industry for a lot of different people, because certain industries are going to start building up a little bit more because of how it is and whatnot. But that all depends, once that all hits, what industries are really going to take the benefit out of it, you know?
Right.
And that's all that's all me and him were ever talking about with it.
Yeah, and maybe you're right, and I hope you actually are. I mean,
I hope so too. Because it would suck. It really would.
I'm just bitter because, you know, what happened with the 2D artists was we just stopped being able to do 2D art.
A lot of 2D artists went to like comic books and went to the other industries, from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, like that's where I am, right? That's why I'm here, and I am legitimately using my powers of animation right here to make my comics. Like that is exactly what I do now. I'm using my 3D skills as a 3D artist and
3D art
here for using my powers of 3D for good.
For good.
Because that actually looks
For the
pretty
greater
badass,
good.
actually. So this picture actually looks pretty darn good. Totally. Right now, I haven't even done anything that looks pretty good.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, and like I said, hoping you're right.
I do too, and the only reason I say that is because I would not everything that I just put in this like past few years, I would cry if literally everything I just did went to waste. Because that means if what I want to do is it means I have to go become a coder, and that's literally what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't want to be a coder. I don't want to have to do that.
And that was part of I was doing UX UI, and that's the other thing. UX UI turned into coding. Yeah, nobody wants anybody who just looks at things and goes, your website's difficult to understand.
Yeah.
What they want now is coders who can code up your website too, and then look at it and decide that it sucks.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, but I don't code. And they're like, well, okay, well then we'll find somebody else.
That's fine. Thanks. We'll figure it out from here. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Okay.
Right? And it's like, it really sucks. And that's, kind of what I've ended up with this entire time.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm really curious what's going to happen with it because it is one of those ones that it'll take some time for a lot of artists that were already in the industries to get used to this new whatever is going on, the new style.
Sure. It will. And I know that. I know that, part of this is me panicking because to me, I'm looking at this going, but what about our industry,
I'm curious how that's also going to work for, like, if graphic designers are going to take on and do stuff with it too, because that can definitely injure their industry as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, they're in the same boat as, like, concept artists in that they have to have the ideas to come in and be like, boom, this is how it works. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, a lot of people are trying to, let me phrase it, the corporational side is trying to find a way not to get rid of artists, but they're trying to figure out why. I really think they still think that art is easy and there's no reason why we need to pay someone to come up with ideas. But they're always going to realize after they try these new ideas that they're going to have to keep having us come in and make these ideas for them,
And I feel like that's what my problem is. Right? Like it's not that I think it's actually going to take our jobs away. I have been a graphic artist for a long, long time. And during every recession, every time we go down, every recession, it's always the same thing. It's always, no, we'll just do all of our graphic design ourselves. And it's crappy and it looks horrible. And everything looks bland and terrible for a long time. And then we get out of the recession and they hire me. And then we go into a recession and I get fired again. And you know what I mean? And so I'm like, I just don't want any more reasons why they're like, we don't need you. We can make a computer do it.
That's the hardest part with this industry, though, is that it's a constant struggle. It's a constant back and forth between us and them.
It is, and that's the most infuriating.
But also the downfall is like I mean, I guess the good part also is that when the recession's coming is because they're starting to do this. Every time something comes up like this, it usually means that we're getting close to a recession.
Right.
And they've been talking about a recession for a while now. So at least my mom keeps telling me about it.
Well, yeah, no, I mean we're either in or coming out of a recession.
Like I feel like my mom keeps saying we're going into one. I already feel like we're in one.
That's what I was thinking too.
I feel like we're in one because there's a lot of people that are hurting still.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that are still gaining, which always happens in a recession. And then there's the people in between that are like, which side are we going to go on here if this continues? You know?
Right.
Like we're in the middle kind of point going, which way are you pushing me?
Yeah.
Because even like during the last recession that we had, there was a lot of industries that were prospering. You know?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. You're not wrong.
And that's the part that I'm like, it's not, I know that I don't think we're gonna tank.
No.
As fast as people say we should for a recession. I think we are already in one. And the people that think that we're going into one don't realize that we're in one right now.
Well,
it was like my mom. Literally, I'm referencing this towards my mom. Because me and her had this whole conversation while we were driving in our trip. But also, like, I don't think she realizes, because all she keeps saying is, like, all these homeless people. I'm like, isn't that a recession? Isn't that part of a recession where a lot of people keep losing their homes, losing a lot of stuff, and we keep falling into the same, like, kind of loop every time?
Mm-hmm.
And we are already kind of doing it. Like, Denver's homeless population's never been this worse.
No. I always say you can tell where we are in a recession by how far out here into the suburbs they get.
That part too, and also how many people are moving into your state. It's like we were a cheap state to live in, a lot cheaper. And these past 2 years specifically, our prices have increased ridiculously.
Sure.
Over everything going on.
That's one of those things that it's like, it totally is a problem in that instance. It's like there's all kinds of weird. I mean, well, I keep thinking,
and I think that's why, like personally,
I'm
I think that's why my mom
to have this house. I bought this house in 2012. It was $175,000.
It's worth what, 400,000 now?
Yeah, no, it's actually 700.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right?
You're almost a millionaire.
Exactly. Like but the problem is, as Mariah points out every time, we could sell the house, but where would we move to?
Mm-hmm. You'd get a same exact kind of style house, the exact same price. But the only difference now would be you wouldn't have a mortgage.
Right. That's true.
That's the only difference. You just be able to buy the house outright. But at the same time, like, do you really want to move anywhere?
No. We are in the perfect,
like, literally. So actually, for you specifically, what spot. I would do, guy, since your house is worth 700,000. I'm just passing this out there as a joke. More as like, hey, you actually might like this idea. I would sell the house, downgrade, take half that money, and buy a house in Japan, and now you have 2 houses.
Right. One of them,
and you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Right, like, honey, we're going back to Japan.
But... Yeah.
Because you know that weekend retreat I was talking about.
Yes.
Japanese retreat.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't think my wife is into the idea of that at all.
Probably not. But, you know, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool. But I doubt it's ever going to happen. But at the same time, like, that's the thing. With your house being worth that much, you could do a few things around there The only downfall is if you downsize, not even downsize, but like downgraded, you're gonna have to rebuild the house again. You'd
Mhm.
own it without having to deal with mortgages and whatnot, but you'll be able to take all that extra money and just rebuild it, which would just build more value.
Yeah.
But in your sense, when you and Mariah, yeah,
Mhm.
when you two are ready to retire, you guys could just sell the house and downgrade, and you guys would have a lot of money for retirement.
Totally would.
If you just let this house keep building equity.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because that's the one thing. Me and the HR rep at my work, he's been there a lot lately, which means that there's a lot of stuff they're trying to figure out. Me and him were talking about it. He's like, "Do you really see our housing market going anywhere different?" I'm like, I see it he's like, they keep saying it's going to drop, and I was like, I see it plateauing. I don't see it dropping.
Yeah, I don't see it dropping.
Like, if it drops, it's only going to drop within like a $50,000 range. It's not going to drop as people are like, "Oh yeah, I can finally buy a house for $200,000 again." I'm like, no, they will start having to build those houses again. But right now, they're not doing any of it. You know?
Yeah.
And they're not going to. Because
No.
right now they're still making money off every $400,000, $600,000 house that they can build.
Yeah.
So that's where I keep telling them, I was like, I see us plateauing before we even get a drop, and we still haven't even plateaued. And he's just like, oh, like, you actually understand this. I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah, well, we're getting to the point now where we're no longer spraying chickens, so
yeah. The problem that Colorado's having right now is that we're growing too fast.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well,
which is not a bad thing. Like, our economy is building so quick, which is good. Don't get me wrong. But we're building too quick. That we can't keep up the infrastructure part. And it's just pushing everybody that's locals that have been comfortable here for what they were paying and what everything like that outside of Colorado now. Like, they're all moving.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm looking pointedly at Brent.
a lot of them moved to Montana.
Yeah.
I found out.
Kansas.
And Kansas. Well, there's a lot of cities in Montana that actually, after we traveled through them this last trip, I could see why a lot of people are moving there. It definitely has an old Colorado feel to them. Small town feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not that much traffic. Everybody knows each other around the corner, like around the blocks. Very historical districts. And I was like, this would make sense why a lot of people are moving up in these areas.
Yeah, but once out, you're out. That's the problem.
Pretty much.
You know, once you leave, you're done. That's it. There's no more coming back.
Like, there's a girl I was talking to at my work, one of my colleagues, and I almost said it to her yesterday but I felt really bad for even coming, like, about to say it, because we were talking, and then she mentioned, I'm just trying to save up all this money so I can buy a house, and I was just like, I was about to say, it's like, I don't see myself even being able to afford a house in this decade without leaving the States. And I was about to say that, but I closed my mouth. I was like, I'm not going to ruin your dreams.
Now, that's the thing, though. There are programs that help. And that's one of the things that...
But at the same time, like, the closest thing right now that I could actually get, but I don't want to get it, is a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Because the things with trailers is that they don't gain value. They stay right where you bought them at. If you paid $60,000 for them, there's really no equity build for a trailer. It stays right around the $60,000 mark.
Right.
So even if you sell it, you may make $5,000 off it. That's about it. But like past that, you will never gain any equity like in a house, like what you have. Times 4 you bought it for.
Sure.
Like that kind of stuff I don't see happening in Colorado anytime again. Yeah, and that's the part that's terrifying. That's the part I say, that's why I think it's moving too quick, is because we went from within 10 years Literally 10 years, yeah, because me and my brother were looking at houses 10 years ago. We could have bought a house for me and him alone for $200,000. It was like for $100,000. And it wasn't that great. We had to rebuild the whole thing. If we went up to, I told him, like, let's just spend the extra money, get a $200,000 house. I know it would cost more, but we wouldn't have to put as much labor into these places. And we were starting to look, and then we just were like, yeah, we'll come back to it later. Now those houses are worth like $400,000 to $600,000.
You're like, we'll come back later, and you're like, great, good job.
This is 10 years though. Like they double that much in 10 years, then that's if you ever look at an actual gradual increase in housing, nothing goes that quick.
In November of this year, so what, 2 months from now?
Yep.
3 months from now, November 1st, we'll mark the 10-year anniversary of us moving into this house. Because we moved in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be 10 years we've lived here. The thing is, like I said, we bought this house, which is a great house. It's in great shape. It's a good house, everything like that.
I like your house. It's a nice little house.
174.
Yeah.
10 years ago. And it's insane now. It's completely over the top. 10 years, it should never have done that, but it did. You know what I mean? I don't even know what to do about that.
I was looking at the houses that we used to live in, me and my parents.
Yep.
And literally some of the houses that we lived in that I was like, this place was the reason why we lived there was because we had nowhere else. It was the cheapest that we can afford. And now they're expensive. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, these were low income housing areas. You know? Like our first house that I remember us moving into was low income.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that alone is not low income anymore.
Right.
So it's like right now it's a banker's dream.
Yeah.
Because they're just making money left and right.
Oh, they totally are.
Which is cool. I'm happy for the industry. I'm happy that it's building. And I'm glad that Colorado's getting a lot of equity and whatnot. Because, like, even Polis sent out... Did you guys get checks or no?
Not yet.
You didn't get the $750?
That they sent out? I mean, that's only a matter of time, right?
Yeah. I just got mine. I was watching the news. He said they had extra money left over for other stuff, but since we're having so much coming in right now, they gave it back to, I think it's a certain percentage of like tax brackets. Yeah. And they gave back or whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't think I was going to get it. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then yesterday I pulled out the mail and I was like, what's this? And I was like, oh, my friend wasn't lying to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's... I think this through. It's all hidden. So, yeah, no, we're going to get that too. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, they're coming. I know that much.
Yeah. I was really good. Did this exactly the way we should have done it. And now I regret my life choices.
Give me inspiration.
Because this is a different shuttle. So I want it to look different, so I'm putting one tail on it. It's easier to just remove that tail completely and put on a new tail.
Got inspiration. All right, let's do this.
Or just leave the tail off. Maybe I'll just leave the tail off. Then it definitely looks like a different one that doesn't look like the princess. So all I need to do is just change her registration numbers and we should be fine. No, I can't think of her. Okay, what am I doing here? Because this is an important moment. I need to figure this out specifically. Because this is the time shattery section of the comic book. So time has gotten shattered. This is an effect I want to repeat. So I'm going to take you, and we're going to invert you. What you thinking of over there? What you thinking of?
Drawing a
You said you were looking for inspiration.
Yeah, so here's my portals that I'm working kind of off of.
Oh, okay.
This is my reference board. And I'm just kind of looking at them. I was like, I don't really want to. Like, I was like, I want some inspiration. So then I jumped into the Discord because this prompt was already done. So I was like, let's see what everybody else did. Just get kind of an inspiration of like what I really want to go for. And I was like, yeah, I am going to go off that idea I was thinking of. So.
Cool.
Stargate portal. Kinda, yeah. But also wanted to play with perspective a little bit as well.
I always get screen and overlay mixed up. Like they're close to one another enough that you're like, oh, I should be able to figure this out. And then it's always just slightly confusing. All right.
Oh, for overlay layers?
Yeah, because overlay is great, but you want to, it's like one of them gets me white, all the whites cleaned up and bright, and the other one doesn't. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Is that. That's what we're looking for. This is the broken, shattered time texture. I'm going to use now.
Oh, here's a fun fact. I found out one of my teachers, the one that was my clothes figure drawing teacher,
Mm-hmm.
he worked on the original Sandman.
Aww.
He was like, "Yeah, it was one of my first jobs." I was like, "No shit, that's so cool."
That's way cool. Yeah, see, that should have been my first clue. I was at the wrong school. I think I should put that wrong place. No. I put it in the right place. All right. Here's how this is going to work. Create new primitive. Right here. What do you think, George? Think we're in bad shape here? We're probably in bad shape. Oh, God. Nope, 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 nope. 33 frame 2B. And then we'll open that one. An insane number of random things for just this one purpose, right? One of my streams is starting to die.
Oh no.
I don't know which one it is. Everything seems to be okay. So, there's that. You know what we don't have? Music.
We do not.
We've been chatting this entire time, and now that we're not chatting, I'm starting to go, wait, hey. Like, no music out here.
Texture in there.
Music. I feel like the plates are not easy to see. There's just so much chaos kind of going on here. A little too much chaos. I may have over chaosed.
All right. That was 30.
Yeah. That's all you're getting out of that gate.
For right now.
Yeah.
We got gate 1, gate 2, gate 3.
There you go. I'm digging it.
All right. I'll be right back. I gotta use the restroom.
No problem. Go rest. Yeah, you didn't know constant griping or cold does not sound like a positive. Constant griping has always been.
All right.
And you're back.
And I'm back.
And you have the secret to the air shield.
Wait, what?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sounds like something an idiot would have in their luggage. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you've never seen Spaceballs.
A long time ago.
Okay, you can still be my friend then.
What's going on in this panel? Are you killing people?
Yeah, these are the time sheets that came down in the middle of the planet moment.
Ah.
And
Cool.
they tore up the ground in this area. And so they're landing, they're like slicing through into the ground.
Hmm.
And
that's cool.
Our senator was in this shuttlecraft heading in there when it occurred. So, and his shuttle was hit, but he managed to survive it. But pretty much everybody else didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I'm just building the city here that's getting its butt kicked.
Whoa. Wow, Kanga. The things that some of these people make in this. Just...
What?
Oh, I looked at my teachers. I looked at what everybody else submitted for these, and I scrolled down a little bit farther than where I was just for quick inspiration. And they're sickening. So, like, here's one of them. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta change my screen. 1 second.
Wow.
I'm gonna get this big. Let's see.
LV426-ish.
All right. So this is one guy. This is Bolu. He does more of a comic style, and then he's trying to switch over a little bit and do painterly on occasion, but it's definitely more comic book. Alejandro, he does some cool stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept scrolling down, and this is when it starts changing a little bit. Austin gets really technical with his stuff.
Hey, some of those are really nice. Very nice.
And then Cody, who's one of my teachers, this is where I started like, oh, damn it. These are getting really good. And then you have some other people, April, who just does pencils, and she's also a student, so she's getting there. I gotta react to all these as well while I'm at it. Yep, alright, cool. And then, oh, there's more. Okay. Brandon Hill, he's also a student, so we're all in the learning phase still. Some of them are really like, okay, that one's cool. And this is when it starts changing.
Right?
These are all 30-minute sketches. This is when we start getting Joseph, Chris Kanga, like all the people that are my teachers / industry professionals.
Yep. So 30 minutes and they're in that much.
Yeah, and 30 minutes and this is what you're getting. Look at these. Like super clean, super refined. I'm like, okay, I hate you.
Right?
Another teacher, almost like super refined, but he's also one of the teachers that takes longer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Robbie, I think he's a comic book guy. He's pretty quick with markers and all that stuff. As you can tell with these, this is stuff that we do, like at shows and whatnot. like the Rockies games and whatnot. This is kind of what our like. I want to get to this kind of quality with my traditionals, and this quick. But yeah, it's just crazy to see like where everybody's at in their own skill base. And then some of them will take them longer. Oh, this is Gary. This is the guy that worked on Sandman.
Oh yeah.
I love his stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, this is literally what we do, and yeah, it's awesome. Who's this? I don't know you, but those are. Whoa! That's so cool. I love it.
You'll get there too. You'll be fine.
I know. Well, it's like what Gary was saying, my teacher. He was like, there's so much story in these. I love them. I'm like, same. Yeah, like this guy right here. He actually took this one a little bit longer than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Started refining it more. So. But yeah, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
But also, like, it's kind of funny because it's also, it hit that point. At that point, this, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I showed this to one of my friends because she was like, I want to get better. I'm like, oh, cool. This is how you can get better, or at least getting ideas out of your head just quicker and learning processes and just getting quicker and not realizing that sometimes you're overthinking the process too much.
Right.
And then I showed her, it's like, this is what I was meaning. And I showed her like where a lot of us start, which is I show like a lot of the students that are in our class to show them what they're at. And this is the teachers. And as soon as I showed her to the teachers, she instantly just shut off. And I was like, yep, that's great. And I was like, you just stop caring. Like, yeah, I just destroyed all your motivation. I'm sorry.
Right. That's the problem.
Which is a common thing, though. That I was that way, though.
Sure.
When I was starting off, like she's a coder that's trying to go into the art world. So like I can understand where she's coming from. Like she's in a whole new world, dude. That panel is looking amazing.
Yeah, this panel's getting serious.
I like it. Oh my god, there's so much going on, but I love it.
Yeah, I'm into the chaos.
Very manga.
I'm into the chaos. Thank you.
Very manga. I love it. Oh my god. It looks great. Nice.
I appreciate that. And I've got to say,
the background's supposed to be
very
white.
manga. I'm like, yay!
Is the background?
Like,
there it is. Okay. I think it looks great. And little gradient there. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
give myself some sky so that there's some.
Which actually did a really cool thing with the outline of those.
So the shuttles clear.
Yeah, it gave them like a glow. I love it. That's awesome.
And now those look like some kind of monolithic things dropping into the city.
And has like, I like the glow effect you have like on the sides of them and whatnot. That with the background.
It's working. Okay. Now we just need to replace all the numbers on that. Show that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna erase the numbers. Because it doesn't belong to our show. Mr. Not appearing in this book.
You're not supposed to have these numbers.
These are not the correct numbers.
That's funny.
Then, to help illustrate this point,
Am I seriously almost at 60? Ah! Oh, I am literally one away. Damn it. I wish I had more time. Today.
the next comic starts with the girl, and she's going to be in Old Town Nevada skateboarding.
Nice.
And then all of these sheets start coming down in the middle of Denver because she's dreaming it. She wasn't actually there when this effect happened on Earth, but this effect happened on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't actually physically there. However, she will dream it, and that's the start. So I kind of want to make sure that this is identifiable, because it's going to be the same effect we're going to have in the middle of Denver happening. Because this is the same thing that tore up Earth. All right, now the question is...
So, if you showed up every prompt that we started this little challenge for at the beginning of summer, which was July, guess how many pictures we've done?
4 billion. No, actually, I don't know. Like, every prompt...
Just one person alone, if you showed up and did every prompt,
yeah,
or every time we did a prompt, we would have done 102.
Wow. That's a lot.
I'm at 59. I've missed a few. Why Denver? Why not Kansas? Why not Nebraska? Why not Mexico? New Mexico? Brent must know.
It's Denver because it's always the place you know.
Oh, that's going in a small panel. Oh, I thought that was a splash page.
It's not. It's a small panel. That's why I'm actually like...
It would look so cool as a splash page, though, because there's so much going on.
It does.
I thought that was the splash page you were trying to do.
I'll keep the original.
You should.
Really is... I did this wrong, so I wonder if I can flip it. I should flip it. Yeah, it's not.
How's it look if it's flipped?
Flip the... Oh, going to the wrong one. This is a canvas. Transformed, that's it.
A noise?
Then I can do this.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there, Brent. I'm almost at the 69 spot.
69. Where? No, we're not doing 69, man. I love you.
Brent said 10 more and I'll be at 69. He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's tough because it is a small panel, but it fit. And it may be too chaotic. We'll have to see. So we did also while we were at it, it's the first naked person in Bellatrix Rising. It turns out to be this guy.
How dare. This is not PG-13 anymore.
Well, we don't.
Actually, no, that would still be considered PG-13.
Still PG-13, but because the panel where it's wide enough to see how naked he is gets cut off by this panel.
That's what I was say. If you're not showing anything, it's still PG-13, and with how you're doing it, it's PG-13.
Yep, totally. So.
See the big red box right there in the middle. That's what I thought you were working on.
Yeah, this is that's not where we are in the story yet. So that's all right. I won't lose that picture. That'll definitely be something that will be reused somewhere. So I was talking about this, and I realized I can do some prose. And what I'm going to do with the prose is put just a single picture and then a bunch of prose around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, I can write some of the scenes that are more uncomfortable and probably shouldn't be put in visual medium without me getting arrested for something. And so, because I've got a 14-year-old girl in this plot, in the story, in a culture where, people routinely take off all their clothes and wander around. So I can totally see that becoming a, somebody getting freaked out about it in some way. So I wrote this entire scene, and the scene was a thing where now I've gotten kind of sidetracked here. The scene was between the captain and the girl, and they're in a hot tub, and like there's it's more like a hot springs sort of thing like you'd see in Japan, but it's on board a ship, so it's a hot tub, but it's still hot springs-esque. And there's two guys in the pool with them, and nobody's wearing clothes, and she's completely embarrassed, and the captain's not even thinking twice about it. Nice. And the whole scene was because I have to discuss why everybody has no body hair and they don't shave, and it's because of genetic manipulation early on. But that leads to the genetic manipulation of my captain, which was the plot point.
Okay.
The captain was genetically manipulated. This is actually something that was brought up earlier.
Never finished.
Oh, that panel's not complete. Oh, crap. We're missing one panel. We were almost done. Anyway, the whole point behind it was to make it so that we could discuss that uncomfortable thing, because there's only one way that that my main character is going to see the scar on the captain's arm, and that's if they're in the pool together. So I realized I could write that in prose. And if I wrote that in prose, then we could just discuss how embarrassed she was for being naked in the pool with grown men and yada yada yada. And the men don't care. They haven't even they nodded at her, and that was about all they got, And so she's both embarrassed and annoyed because they didn't actually respond to her at all. And it's such a great teenager moment of, she's both aggravated and irritated that they didn't respond to her, and she's embarrassed because they're, yada yada yada. It's like totally like a teenager's work. So that was fun.
Right.
But then now all I have to do is write the or all I have to do when I draw it is I can show a picture of Chang sitting there naked on the side of the pool. She's an adult, so that's not going to cause anybody any. I mean, that might cause people discomfort, it's nudity, but it's not the same as showing Alex naked, because Alex, of course, is 14. So the moment I do that, everybody's like, no, freak out. So the TLDR on that is I will use that explosion picture somewhere else. So it'll definitely be, it's not going to go to waste, because it was used in a little teeny panel. That doesn't mean it will disappear forever. But I'm kind of excited about doing that too. Alrighty. I think that's it, guys.
Oh, shoot, it's 11 already.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's it. I think that's, except for page 19, which is a splash, and I always save my splash for the last thing because I want to spend some time on it. I think that's it. I don't see any more red anywhere in the comic except for the back page and page 19. That means we're done.
Nice.
Yeah. All 32 pages of this comic is complete and bolted in.
Perfect.
I mean, we still have some work, but I sealed it up. I'm only like 2 weeks late.
Just 2. I mean, what? You got what? 2 more pages left?
Yep.
And then you go to the final edits?
You can get a proofread right now, my friend. In fact, it's
nice.
I think I will do. It's an export multiple pages as a PDF. All pages. Where do you save it to? Desktop. Yeah. Just go ahead and replace it. I'll specify its resolution to be 150 dpi. That way, we run. We hope that it won't be a 500 meg file if I do that. Let's see if it's perceivable. It's exporting now. We'll go over by a minute or two, and then I'll send this over to Brent to read over and look over and make all of the commentary, knowing that we've got still work to do, but now is a good time to see if it flows, because this is a great time for me to tear out a page if I need to. You know what I mean? But now, before I go in and clean them all up and make all the pages pretty and everything like that, this is the right time to say, no, it doesn't flow through this entire area. You're gonna have to fix it. You know. All right, exporting was completed. Let's see what it looks like over here. Oh yeah, it's only 15 megs. Can't email it. But the quality is fine. It's totally readable. I wonder if I made it black and white, because it doesn't need to be in color at all. I wonder if that would help. One more run, if you don't mind hanging with me for just a second.
I'm just posting stuff right now, trying to get this all put up here finally. Things that never posted because for some reason you can't link everything to... I like that they let you finally do stuff on the computer with Instagram.
Yes. Boy, that's my entire world.
I can't find the buttons anymore like you can with
the app.
On the app for the phone, just to have it post to everything. You have to go in and do it all yourself, it looks like.
I'm still trying to figure out, how do I get something that will post to all social media?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, and because that's what it has in the app, but it doesn't have it in...
Because Meta will post to Facebook and Instagram, but I want to
but Instagram won't let you do that if you use the computer, but if you do it with the phone, you'll be able to post to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I still think Tumblr.
Okay, 8 is smaller. 8 megs. It's much smaller because it does not need to be in color. All right, which looks pretty decent. Okay, I believe we have an export. I think we can send it to you. Do you think 8 megs will go through Facebook? Let's see.
Megabytes?
Yeah.
Should. I think it's gigabytes is when it starts having problems.
It's all good. Just gotta save rent. And let's see what happens. Right? What's the worst that could happen? Kablam. Let's see if you get it, Brent. Take a look and tell me whether you got it over on Facebooky. On the Facebooky. On the Facebooky. So I've been looking at negative space. Let's see whether that gets it or not. Oh, I forgot about that. Can you use Messenger? Because I sent it to you via Messenger. So if you've got just Messenger up, it's kind of, at first I thought the Messenger thing was stupid, but now I'm actually thinking that, when they separated Messenger from Facebook, at first I thought that was stupid, but now I'm actually kind of liking it because you can log out of Facebook and still keep Messenger running, so people can still get it. But it worked. Keep forgetting that Brent's trying to stay off of social for a little while, and I don't blame him. Sorry about that, Brent. Oh, hey, did you see my completely nuclear green Starbucks cup?
That's very green.
It is. All right, page 6.
Is it? Are they literally going green?
Page 6 block.
We're going green and turning everything else that we have green as well.
Well, no, that was their summer or their spring colors were all nuclear. So
That's
I went and got them all. Block 5 is fine. Don't worry about it because it's the experiment for the webcomic side. I may just decide to not do this, but I went ahead and made it longer on 6 and 7. So it drops below on both of those to see what panels we can get. We'll see. We may go back and fix that. All right. Off then to save as. No, destruction of moment has been saved so that we don't have to worry about that. All right. Well, there we go, guys. I am down to now fussing with little bits of things like what am I doing with cover pages and things like that. And other than that, I think we are rolling out. So, happy birthday to
time.
Because that was totally the plan.
Actually, it's about time for me to get going too, because I got to go to work.
You got to go to work. I got to go to lunch. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, Brent, for doing this. Keeping an eye on things for me. And I'll see you maybe tomorrow. Maybe not. Who knows?
Potentially.
Could be. I like
if I'm awake again like I have been for the past 2 days, yeah.
Yeah. I like having you back.
I don't know why. I keep randomly waking up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it starts at 5. I go back to bed, and my body's like, no, it's 7 now. You can wake up now. I'm like, okay.
Right.
And that's how it's been going. That's why I've been catching it. I was like, I guess let's get some art done.
Yeah, might as well get work.
Like, I'm not sleeping, apparently, so why not do something else?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, my friend. Have a good day at work, and I will see you later. And I'll see you later,
Have
Brent.
a great day yourself.
Looking over my comic.
Bye, Brent.
Bye-bye.